New York.
National Services feels the heat in Parliament after wasting billions of rand. The priest who put his life on the line for people living with HIV/AIDS is attacked and shot. And the Cricket World Cup mudslinging begins. Shane Warne says the Proteas have no chance. This is E-News Prime Time. A very good evening. Correctional Services stands accused of squandering billions of rand. Free-spending prison officials have been hauled before Parliament to account for it all, and it's opened up a huge can of worms.
They're tasked with rehabilitating criminals, but it seems Correctional Services can't keep its own house in order, and it now has to answer to Parliament's watchdog, Scopa.
Your goal is to rehabilitate offenders, and yet it seems you can't rehabilitate yourselves, and you're creating the impression that your department is now becoming a serial offender yourselves.
For the fourth year in a row, the Auditor General's found shocking evidence of gross misspending. This time, 700 million rand has gone on undocumented leave because records haven't been monitored. Staff loans totaling 11 million rand have been written off. Most was for excessive medical aid claims that were paid without the necessary authorization. 1.6 billion rand went to 3 catering and IT companies that have the same directors and auditors. But the department says the correct tender procedures were followed, and former senior staffers spent 535 million rand to set up companies which they now run. But Correctional Services is blaming the National Treasury. It says it's forced to work with incompatible financial systems that have been prescribed by the Treasury. Parliament's not convinced, though, and the National Prosecuting Authority is now investigating the misspending.
Another of the country's high-profile crime fighters has fallen victim to criminals. This time it's the Western Cape's Deputy Police Commissioner. Hanif Daniels has been mugged by 2 robbers outside a Cape Town shopping mall. He's the 3rd senior law enforcement official to fall victim to crime in the past month.
It would seem South Africa's criminals are becoming ever more brazen. Their latest victim, Western Cape Deputy Police Chief Hanif Daniels. He'd just withdrawn a large sum of money from a bank inside one of Cape Town's shopping malls. While walking back to his car, Daniels was accosted by 2 men. One pushed him from behind and the other snatched his briefcase. Both men then fled with the case. In it, 9,000 rand and his firearm. Police won't confirm whether the stolen firearm was the standard police issue, but do say he was on duty at the time of his mugging. Daniels is the 3rd high-profile law enforcement official to be on the receiving end of crime recently. Last week, Gauteng's Safety and Security MEC Firoz Kashalia and his wife were at their mercy when they were robbed at knife point while out on a stroll. Their robbery came just days after a burglary at the home of Begi Cele, KwaZulu-Natal's Safety and Security MEC. No arrests have been made in connection with any of the 3 incidents. Lukhanyo Chalata, E-News, Cape Town.
Meanwhile, a priest renowned for his work with people living with HIV/AIDS is fighting for his life tonight. Father Kieran Cray was shot twice during a robbery at the AIDS hospice he set up outside Pretoria. His attackers took some money and a cell phone.
Father Kieran Cray doing what he does best, trying anything to create hope in the fight against AIDS.
Father Kieran has had his vaccine.
3 years ago, he agreed to be a human guinea pig by being injected with an AIDS vaccine during the first human trials of a new drug. After that, he set up the Leratong Hospice in Attridgeville for people dying as a result of HIV and AIDS. Cray is now fighting for his life after he was attacked at the hospice by 8 armed men. He unwittingly opened his door, thinking he was being summoned by staff. After a struggle with gunmen, Father Cray was shot twice in the chest. The robbers left with a cell phone and some cash. Staff say they heard him shouting that he was dying.
Father was very concerned. He said, he started to me, you're not feeling well. You don't think you'll make us say, yes, you will. You'll be fine.
Cray was admitted to the Zuid-Afrikaans hospital where he underwent 2 operations.
He's been fully repaired, as his family
put it, he's had his wheels aligned and a full service.
Doctors say the next few days are critical for Kriya's survival, as there is a risk of infection setting in. Kale Nair, E-News, Pretoria.
Sorry to be the one to tell you, the petrol price is going up by 24 cents a litre next week. Higher international fuel prices and a weaker rand are to blame.
From next Wednesday, you'll be paying R5.75 for a litre of 95 unleaded at the coast. And in Gauteng, a litre of 95 unleaded will set you back R5.99. The hike of 24 cents is attributed mainly to a sharp rise in international fuel prices last month. At the same time, the rand weakened ever so slightly against the US dollar. Economists have warned that motorists should brace themselves for another increase next month. In recent days, international oil prices have risen to their highest levels since December. This is due to concerns that the United States energy stockpiles are on the decline.
Well, some of the world's leading stock markets are struggling to recover from what has been a disastrous week. European shares are said to be very jittery, but London's FTSE is posting gains. A three-day tumble on London's stock market wiped out almost 120 billion euros of its value. Stocks on Wall Street and Asia also fell. The global scare was triggered in China by rumours of a crackdown on illegal share offerings, but it spread to wider issues. Traders are concerned that global economic growth is under threat, which could spark a longer-term recession. But London is staging a bit of a recovery, and it's hoped that could herald an upturn in investor confidence. Well, on the local front, the JSE is looking a little healthier. The rand, though, is weaker against the dollar, trading at more than 7.30 to the greenback. Here's a look at the indicators.